Have you ever wondered what's really triggering your child's overwhelm? This might surprise you. Sound. It's often the invisible culprit behind bedtime battles, homework struggles, and those tricky meal times. The sounds we barely notice can feel huge for neurodiverse kids, and small changes to their environment can completely transform how they feel, sleep, and focus. Today, I'm showing simple shifts that can make home life feel so much calmer, easier, and more connected. Not the kind of sounds that you notice like car alarms outside your home or a barking dog, but those kind of everyday noises most of us tune out. Dishwasher humming, or the kettle boiling, the scrape of the chair across the floor in the kitchen. Harmless, right? Well, maybe not. For neurodiverse kids, sound isn't just sound. It's a constant stream of input into their nervous system that's trying to process it. And unlike us, they don't always have the filter to push it to the background. That gentle ticking clock you barely notice, it could sound like a ticking time bomb to them. The air fryer pinging in the kitchen might as well be a police siren going off. And this is backed by science. There's so much research now that shows that children with autism and ADHD often experience sound more intensely. Their brains filter noise differently. It delays processing, and they struggle with layered sound. So even a family dinner with cutlery clinking, background chatter and appliances running can feel totally overwhelming for them. And here's the part we often miss as parents. We tend to react to the behaviour without contemplating what the cause is. We see the refusal to eat, the meltdown, or the retreat into the bedroom, and we jump into solution mode. Tools, behaviour charts, calming techniques. But what if the behaviour isn't the problem? What if it's the clue? If we don't pause to ask what's really happening in their world right now, we can miss the spark and end up just treating the explosion. I want to tell you a quick story. A while ago, I went to London to meet someone for a lunch. I was super excited. She wanted to interview me for a podcast, so I thought, why not dress up? Picked a nice outfit, and in a flash of bad judgment, I decided to wear heels. I hadn't worn heels in forever. We all live in trainers now, don't we? Anyway, within minutes, I realised these shoes were what I call car-to-bar shoes. Lovely if you're going from the car to a bar, not so lovely for walking. By the time I arrived at the club, my ankles were literally rubbed raw, and the sides of my feet were on fire. But I smiled and sat down and got through lunch. Then she said, "Let me show you around the club." And off we went, room after room, staircase after staircase. I was literally gritting my teeth behind a polite smile. And then she said, "Let's pop into my friend's showroom. It's just around the corner." We walked another 10 minutes, and by that point, I could barely hear what she was saying. All I could think of was, "Get these shoes off." And the thing is, it could have been a lovely day, but because I didn't pause that morning to think through what the day might actually look like, I spent most of it in pain, and I couldn't fully enjoy it. And that's the exact same thing I want parents to think about when it comes to children and sound. If we don't take a moment to contemplate how our homes feel to our child's senses, not just how they look, we could be totally missing what's making them feel uncomfortable, dysregulated, or overwhelmed. You might want to write this down. Sound isn't universal, it's deeply personal. So how do you start? You become a bit of an audio detective. You can step back and really start noticing what sounds are happening when your child starts to struggle. Is the ping of the air fryer, or the whir of the dishwasher, voices overlapping at dinner time? And then ask, where do they gravitate to when they need to calm themselves? What rooms do they avoid? It's not always about big dramatic changes. Sometimes it's just the awareness that leads to better choices. And I use a simple system with my clients, and it's called S.E.E. You might want to jot this down, as I believe it's a crucial part of changing things for the better. S is for stop. Pause before reacting to a meltdown or tears. Give yourself just a moment to ask what else might be going on. E is for environment. Scan the space. What noise is present that you might have tuned out? And second E is for experience. Put yourself in their shoes. What might this sound feel like to them? Because here's what happens when we do that. You stop firefighting the meltdowns. Routines start running more smoothly, and you'll feel more connected to your child, and your child will feel more safe. I worked with a lovely couple, Katie and Tom, recently, who thought their 7-year-old son was just acting out at mealtimes. He'd avoid eating or refuse different foods, he'd shut down or storm off from the dinner table after a few minutes. They thought he was just being a picky eater, or it was down to anxiety. But when we looked at the environment, the real culprit was sound. The scrape of the chairs, the clink of forks, pinging of the microwave. It was just too much for him. So they put small felt pads on the bottom of the chair legs, you know, those little kind of square things that you can stick on. They switched the cutlery, lowered the lighting, and waited to put the dishwasher on until after dinner. And they played calming music during meals. And the results? He started eating again, he stayed at the table, and best of all, reconnected with his family again. His behaviour didn't magically change, his environment did. And once that happened, his nervous system could finally relax. So if there's one belief I want you to walk away with today, it's this. Sound isn't one size fits all. What's quiet to you might be really loud to them. And what's fine to you might feel unbearable. And when you choose to listen, really listen to the way they experience sound, you're not just reducing stress, you're saying something powerful without words. I see you. I understand. You're safe with me. Do you think your child struggles with noise? Drop it in the comments or message me. Your experience might help another parent feel less alone. And if this feels like a lot, please know this is why I do what I do now. I've taken everything I've learned and I help families create calming, supportive spaces for their neurodiverse children. In my next videos, I'll be sharing more about what to do, what to look for, what kinds of changes tend to help, and why certain elements work better for certain sensory needs. So thank you so much for watching. You're doing better than you think, and your child is lucky to have you.